Studying at LANDAU School is to be constantly challenged, taking national curriculum as well as A-level educational system. We are learning something new so that later on we can apply to the great universities.
Watching these kids grow into adults is the favorite part of my job. They all have different passions and interests that we support and harvest here at LANDAU School.
Teaching at LANDAU is to be a part of caring and supportive environment, meanwhile contributing to the upcoming generation not only with knowledge and skills, but rather a passion for a lifelong learning.
What I appreciate the most about LANDAU School is the high quality of its education and also the opportunities that it gives. For example, extracurricular activities. Every student always jumps at every opportunity to gain new things for their university application. Our classmates feel more than classmates. We feel like a big family.
My top priorities as a principal is to change mindsets of students and staff, to improve mental health awareness and to build a learning culture.
I was at the university and I was required to do an internship, so I just went and started doing the courses of IT courses like in Landau, but that was not actually the school. And during that process I liked the teaching so much, explaining stuff to students and then seeing them make stuff, like cool stuff that I was personally able to do only like when I was at grade 11 first year, and then they were like 6th grade students and they were doing the same stuff because I taught them. So because of that, because of the whole process, I liked so much, so I just applied for the ICT part-time job at the LANDAU School. So I just enjoyed it more and more from time to time, so I just kept going. And that's how I ended up here.
I like explaining the things, what is unclear for kids.
In order to answer that question, first I have to also say that I'm a history teacher. Because I'm a history teacher, I have to, discuss politics and philosophy and, history in general. So one of the things that is also interesting is when we teach history, when we teach politics and whatnot, it's something that's always changing, and getting to see the reactions and the approach of today's generation on history and politics is something that really fascinates me, and it's something that I really like to hear from other students and what their approach is on history and from the past and what might be the history of the future, and also current politics and international affairs. So it's something that is constantly changing, it's constantly evolving. So that's why I'm so fascinated by it. So yeah, that's my answer to that question.
A passion for teaching and a love of being in the classroom brought me to teaching, and I truly believe teachers can make difference.
To focus on the needs of students.
I believe that every student is unique, and as a teacher we have to stimulate the educational environment where they can grow their full potential. And this is basically my teaching philosophy, to create that environment.
So the main idea in my teaching philosophy is that, especially in IT, is that the student does most of the learning itself, right? So IT is the field where the teacher gives the basics only, right? Even if I explain some stuff and like explicitly explain everything, that would not help, because without the practice, without the digging up to yourself, you will fail. Like most likely you'll just forget it in a week. So the main philosophy behind my teaching is just giving the basic and then pushing the students to research, to gain information themselves. Especially in like year 10, 11 grades, I push them to research the information themselves, because most of the time when you do the research, when you find the errors, when you fail to do something, you'll remember that, and next time you'll do better, rather than if I just explain it. So that's it.
I disliked working remotely.
I did enjoy having more free time to myself at home, but I did really miss the classroom atmosphere of interacting with other students and other teachers.
So I think LANDAU is definitely one of the most peaceful communities. It has created a very comfortable community for you to open up and make friends. Really just try to be yourself and not worry about what people will think of you and judge you.
LANDAU requires a very welcoming atmosphere. I always feel like I can rely on my friends or my teachers for any questions I have with anything.
I would describe LANDAU as a very kind of organized chaos where we all kind of coexist in a very peaceful yet chaotic environment.
It acquires a positive atmosphere for several reasons, but one of the most important reasons are the lovely teachers that surround us.
I keep my doors open, first of all. I listen to people, I bring them in and I advise them, but also I let them know that they have the power of changing things.
LANDAU really let us take our time and not worry about overloading ourselves with our studies. We never really had homework that made us feel like we couldn't cope with it. But when we really had too much, we had our friends that we could really rely on, and our teachers helped us to overcome those struggles.
I have a lot of hobbies, which the one I used most is actually art. So when I feel very stressed, I use art as a self-expression or relief.
I would say one of the best ways to cope with stress is to have some time for yourself. And that can be anything. It can be from reading books to going to the cinema. I, for example, find going to the cinema alone sometimes is even therapeutic, right? Or reading a book. I have my own like mini library where I read books, especially about especially about biographies. I especially like reading biographies. They basically influence me a lot to kind of see what other people have accomplished. So it will be basically, how should I say, it basically makes the stress disappear, and it makes you cope better, and it makes you to strive to better things. So that's one of the things I would definitely suggest.
I like to spend time with my family in order to cope with stress. Additionally, I play sports and I listen to music.
Striving for perfection.
Improvement.
A mess, chaos, efficiency.
Productive.
Family.
Si quieres mejorar tus estudios, puedes estudiar en la escuela de LANDAU.